Every generation produces a player who bends the game, breaks the numbers, and rewrites every scouting report that wants to find him. But once in a lifetime, a player comes along who doesn't just challenge expectations, he destroys them. Luka Doncic was always supposed to be a genius on offense. A magician with the ball, a master of pace, a player who could read a defense 2 steps before it formed. And he certainly wasn't supposed to outplay Victor Wembanyama on the defensive end. Yet here we are, watching Luka Doncic become something the NBA never prepared for. A two-way force, an unstoppable engine, and the most complete weapon in basketball today. This is the story of how Luka Doncic shattered the limits placed on him. Luka Doncic isn't the problem that needs fixing, he's the problem the league can't solve. The defensive revelation. Nobody saw coming for years Luka Doncic carried an unwanted label, the worst defensive star of the modern era. Analysts mocked his lateral quickness. Critics targeted his conditioning. Opposing coaches hunted him on switches. His scouting report was simple: attack him, isolate him, expose him. But then something impossible happened. In a game where everyone expected Victor Wembanyama to be the best defender on the floor, the title belonged to Luka. 5 steals, 2 blocks, relentless rotations, online chaos, shock everywhere. The league didn't realize it yet, but this was the beginning of a transformation. Luka wasn't supposed to defend like this, but he was doing it anyway. The Dallas Mavericks never believed he could become a true two-way anchor. But Los Angeles did. They gave him structure, balance, and the one thing no system in Dallas ever provided: support. And suddenly, the weaknesses that defined him didn't just improve, they disappeared. The trade that shook the Western Conference, Dallas didn't just trade a superstar, they traded an entire ecosystem. And the moment Luka walked out of that franchise, the balance of power in the West shifted. The Mavericks thought they were moving on from a problem. Instead, they gifted the Lakers a generational force who was finally placed inside a system designed to amplify his strengths rather than demand miracles from them. In Dallas, Luka was punished for being great. Every possession started with him. Every decision rested on him. Every bailout shot fell on his shoulders. He was creating advantages from scratch, constantly. The Lakers changed everything. They listened. They built around him. They gave him teammates he trusted, players he personally recruited like DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart. For the first time in his career, Luka didn't inherit a roster. He crafted one, and the results were immediate. The Lakers opened the season 8-3, powered by a top 10 offense built around Luka's ability to generate an absurd 57 points per game through scoring and playmaking. The reinvention of Luka Doncic. Luka didn't just switch teams, he rebuilt himself. At 26 years old, instead of relying on natural talent or doubling down on habits, Luka did something that shocked even those closest to him. He reshaped his entire body and game. 18 pounds gone, body fat from 14% to 8.5%, a frame tuned for speed, not size. The player who broke basketball logic. Every era has rules, and one of basketball's biggest rules is simple: the more you do, the less efficient you get. Usage goes up, true shooting goes down. Every superstar in history, from James Harden to Michael Jordan, bled efficiency at high usage. But Luka Doncic broke the rule. This season, Luka's usage rate is 38.5%, the highest of his career. Yet his true shooting is an unbelievable 62.8%, also the best of his career. No player in NBA history has ever matched that combination of volume and efficiency. The system that unlocked a superweapon. When Luka arrived in Los Angeles, the Lakers didn't try to overhaul him. They overhauled the environment around him. Under J.J. Redick, the Lakers slowed their pace from top 10 to 21st in the league. Not to limit Luka, but to sharpen him. Precision over chaos, clean execution over frantic running. Instead of being forced to create every advantage, Luka now walked into possessions where the advantage already existed. Spacing tightened, timing synced. 5-out structure became the default. Weak side actions flowed in rhythm with Luka's reads. Suddenly, every possession didn't feel like a puzzle he had to solve. It felt like a story he could finish however he wanted. In Dallas, Luka held the ball for 8.8 seconds per touch, dribbling through defensive walls just to create something from nothing. In Los Angeles, that number dropped to 6.1 seconds, nearly 3 full seconds less simply because the system gave him structure instead of survival. The trio that terrorizes the league. Every great offense has a backbone, a trio that defines its identity. For the Lakers, that trio is Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and DeAndre Ayton. Together, they form the most efficient three-man unit on the roster, a blend of IQ, movement, interior pressure, and complementary skill sets that give Luka everything he lacked for years. Reeves has evolved into a 22-5-5 player on elite splits, a secondary creator who knows exactly when to speed up or slow down. His timing with Luka is surgical, a dual-tempo partnership where Luka manipulates space while Reeves slices into openings. Ayton, meanwhile, is the blueprint of the modern screen and finish big man. His screens generate clean looks, clean drives, and clean reads. His roles create 4-on-3 advantages that Luka weaponizes instantly. For the first time in Luka's career, the system doesn't ask him to create the advantage. The system provides the advantage, and Luka exploits it. The offensive season. That shouldn't exist numbers don't normally shock NBA historians. But Luka's 2025 to 2026 offensive season does. He's generating offense at a rate in the 99th percentile of all NBA seasons ever recorded, placing him in the top 3 of all time when normalized per 100 possessions. This isn't just efficiency. This isn't just production. This is unprecedented dominance from any era. On opening night, he scored 43 on Golden State. Game 2, 49 on Minnesota's second-ranked defense. In 2 nights, he poured in 92 points, more than any Laker has ever scored across the first 2 games of a season. Not Kobe, not Jerry West, no one. Then he kept going, 5 games in, 200 points. Averaging 40-11-9 on 50% shooting, becoming the first player in NBA history to open a season at 40-10-5. But the true indicator of his offensive terror is how drastically the Lakers' identity shifts, depending on whether he's on the floor. Wilt-level offense in a modern era. Through his first 10 games, Luka matched Wilt Chamberlain's 37.1 points per game, a number that has survived untouched for over half a century. But context matters. Wilt played in the fastest era in league history, an environment inflated by pace, possessions, and volume. When adjusted to modern pace, Wilt's number drops. Luka's does not. Luka isn't matching a legendary scoring pace, he's surpassing it. Inside an era built on complex defenses, scouting, analytics, and elite athletes at every position. The defensive evolution that changed everything for years, teams built offensive game plans around attacking Luka. He was the mismatch, the target, the defensive liability, but that version of Luka no longer exists. Last postseason, Luka defended more isolations than any player in the league and held scorers to 0.66 points per possession, elite numbers for any defender, especially the lead engine of a team. This season, on the 4th most isolation possessions defended, he's allowing 0.76 points per possession, still elite. When he is the primary defender, opponents shoot 39.1%, a number reserved for all defensive candidates. He's grabbing a 31.1% defensive rebounding rate, the kind of number you expect from dominant bigs, not from a heliocentric forward guard carrying history's heaviest offensive burden. Then came the moment that shattered every remaining stereotype about him. November 5th, San Antonio. 35 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds, 5 steals, 2 blocks. And on the 2 biggest possessions of the game, he defended Victor Wembanyama, one-on-one and one. He stonewalled the most physically overwhelming young player in basketball. He erased the mismatch teams spent years hunting. If you want more basketball stories, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and comment your thoughts. Can any team stop this version of Luka Doncic? Let's talk hoops.